Hello and welcome. I'm the Candyman and you're watching Patch Notes on State of Decay 2. Alright, so update 24 is in the works. Alright, so it's going to be finally released on Monday, February 8th. So coming up pretty soon. And this video is just going to give an outline of everything that the developers covered in the stream that they had here on this past Monday. It's about an hour long, so I just took some notes so that way you guys don't have to watch an hour-long stream to understand what's going on in the update. But as far as this update was concerned, it was more focused on a lot of like tweaks and bug fixes as opposed to massive content upgrades. So first things first, they did mention that there is going to be a new cosmetic item specifically for Black History Month to commemorate it. So the cool thing about this item is that, first of all, it's going to be free. So all the players in-game, all your survivors in-game are going to be able to use this item. But also, this item will be available for you to buy in real life as well, which is kind of cool. So if you are interested in that, they did give a link, stateofdecay.com/NAACP. Now, at the time that the stream was happening and at the time that I checked on the link, it wasn't up and running yet. But I'm sure on Monday, when the update goes live, you'll be able to access that link if you want a real-life version of the shirt. And then they talked about the Trumbull Valley pack, how it is coming back. So it's back on the menu, boys. You're going to get access to the Echo Series weapons, most notably the S3 shotgun, I believe it's called. And you're also going to get the improvised weapon station mod, so that you can build out some of those weapons that you saw in Heartland. So with that in mind, in terms of bounties, they did mention that they're going to change the way they approach it. Instead of having updates that are specifically designated for being bounties, sometimes they did that a couple different occasions. Instead, bounties are going to be automated monthly. So on a certain date every month, they're just going to rotate through all of the packs. Now, because of that, they mentioned that the number of updates are going to slow down because instead of having to do a bunch of like little updates with all the different bounties and packs and stuff like that, instead what they're going to focus on now is larger features. So that sounds good to hear. But they also mentioned that those updates might take anywhere from 2, 3, 4 months. So moving forward, I expect less updates on State of Decay 2, but hopefully with more content instead of just here's a new pack. And another thing they mentioned was about recruiting. So it was about enclaves. So currently the way things work is that if you are wanting to recruit somebody from an enclave, a neighboring enclave, they have to be allied. But with the update, what's going to change is you are actually going to be able to recruit from any enclave as long as they're not hostile. So if they're allied, you're going to get it for free. You're going to be able to recruit the survivor for free. If they're friendly, it's going to be 750 influence points. And then if they're neutral, it's going to be 1,500. Now, obviously, 1,500 still quite a bit to get a survivor on board, but if you're desperate and you need one, it's kind of a cool option to have. Also, what they mentioned with this is that you're not going to be able to keep that enclave around. So it's still going to be the system in place where if you recruit somebody from an enclave, that enclave disappears from the map. Another thing they mentioned that's specifically for Xbox is going to be keyboard and mouse integration. So this is something that I never really even thought about, but if, which I'm sure a lot of people do have both a desktop, so they have like a keyboard and mouse, as well as the Xbox itself, excuse me. So what you're able to do at this update, you're going to be able to actually plug in your keyboard and your mouse to your Xbox and be able to use those controls. So if you want to switch things up, you're tired of using the Xbox controller, you want that PC vibe, that's going to be available for you in this new update. So pretty cool little addition there. Something that they mentioned that I particularly liked was they finally fixed or are fixing the bloater spawn on vehicles. So there's been a couple of episodes throughout my seasons, if you watch my community series, where I was driving and then boom, a bloater spawns right in front of your car, and there's almost literally no way to get around it, and it just kind of messes you up. So they mentioned that they are fixing that bug, which to me, like I said, is huge, especially in the later zones like Nightmare and Lethal Zone. Those running into a bloater is just especially a plague bloater. And with bugs, they also mentioned that they are fixing the Juggernaut despawn bug. So this is kind of a bug that was actually useful, where if the Juggernaut tried to enter the house, sometimes it would despawn. So they're fixing that as well. So yeah, like I mentioned, this update was mostly about fixing, and it wasn't necessarily filled up with content. But one last thing that the developers mentioned that I thought was interesting is, which I don't know, I personally wasn't a huge fan of, but I guess I get where they're coming from. They really seem to downplay the idea of like character creation and character customization. They gave a couple of different examples when people talked about wanting to nickname their own communities or create their own characters. So unfortunately, guys, if that's something that you're hoping to get in State of Decay 2, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So that was a little unfortunate. But yeah, so that wraps up basically everything they talked about in the video, or stream, I should say. So if there's anything you feel like I missed, or if there's anything that they end up adding when the update actually goes live on Monday, go ahead, feel free to drop a comment down below. Or I myself might go in and do an updated comment when the update goes live, if, like I said, there's anything I missed, and I see it in the patch notes. I'm like, oh, I didn't talk about that in the video, or I forgot to talk about that. But yeah, so that will be it for update 24. So keep an eye on that. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the video here. So if you like the video, do me a favor. Hit the like button and consider subscribing as well. Every bit helps. As always, spread the love, spread the positivity, and I'll catch you in the next one.